Peter Gammons joining me here on the show. So Saturday, I mean, can you put in perspective what Saturday was about, Peter, with Volquez and Pujols, the rest of the action?
That was just, I mean, Volquez actually has pitched very well for Miami, much better than his record shows, but that drama was so cool that he reached out to someone who had died, and he said it before the game, which I thought was really cool. But it made for a great story, great night. But the Pujols, I mean, Albert's had physical problems the last couple of years, but in my mind, I saw a couple of things about who's the greatest right-handed hitter. And I don't know. If you're going Honus Wagner or, Joe DiMaggio or whatever. But, just from the time in spring training in 2001, when I was there in Jupiter, Florida, actually talking Mark McGwire into doing an interview, and he said, what you really should be doing, Peter, is doing an interview with him. And he pointed towards Albert, who was in the cage. He said, he's going to make the team. He's going to be the Rookie of the Year, and he's going to end up in the Hall of Fame. So why don't you interview him? So, of course, I did. And Mark McGwire was absolutely right. He was coming out of A-ball to the major leagues, and that began that career. And his numbers are ridiculous. He's been when he was healthy, he was a great defensive first baseman. And to me, for all he does with the different charities and so forth that gets involved, but he's one of the real giants of my 45 years covering baseball.
So you would put him in with a top 5 right-handed hitters of all time?
I think there's no question. I mean, Miguel Cabrera may be there as well, but I just think that sometimes because Pujols was in St. Louis and it was, as great as he was, it was a St. Louis story. And then he goes to the West Coast and he gets hurt and he kind of disappears and, he doesn't make early sports centers or the rest. It sort of disappeared. I found when I was talking about it with some people that on Sunday, they almost had forgotten he still played for the Angels. Now, maybe the contract wasn't good. They had the Josh Hamilton contract was more restrictive. Things have not gone well for the Angels. They seem to have found every injury known to man. But I think he's sort of gone off the screen of great players. And, we're watching an historic figure here. And I'm really happy for him because he's a guy that essentially went undrafted out of high school, was drafted in the 11th round out of junior college, was never really considered a prospect. And he's very smart. And one of the things I love about him, Rich, is he remembers. I've always thought that having a chip on your shoulder or remembering those who overlooked you or something to prove is very important in athletics. And one day in Jupiter, it was kind of rainy. They were hitting in the cages underneath a roof, and Bill Parcells was there, so he often comes over to watch baseball practices. And we were talking while Albert was in the cage, and I said to Bill, I mean, I think Albert remembers the name of every person that ever said he wouldn't make it. And Albert came out of the cage, and he introduced himself to Parcells and talked a little bit, and then he said, and by the way, I heard what Peter said about me and remembering everyone who said I wouldn't make it. He's absolutely right. The name, it's probably close to 1,000 names, but I get them all. I love that.
Me too.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you liked some of that, get some more of that on the Rich Eisen Show app. Follow all the information you see right here on the Rich Eisen Show.